Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the THW NHL News and Rumors Rundown. My name is Jim Parsons. I'm here with the HockeyWriters.com. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend and an early Father's Day to all of you fathers out there who are big hockey fans. We got lots of news to cover. We're going to do that right now. But just a quick reminder, if you want to follow us, you can do so at the Hockey Writer on Twitter. You can go to the HockeyWriters.com, the Facebook page, the Hockey Writers, check out the YouTube channel, subscribe to the newsletters. Lots of ways to get the content that we're covering. But let's get right into it. Obviously, some of the big news this week is that John Tortorella has been officially hired by the Philadelphia Flyers to be their next head coach. He gets a 4-year deal. We're hearing somewhere in the neighborhood of about $4 million per season. Old school coach with a team that really wants kind of an old school mentality for their group. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tortorella, how long this lasts, and this Cinderella story, this happy fairy tale marriage continues, because he's got a reputation of ruffling people the wrong way, but it could be perfect for Philadelphia, so we'll see where all of this goes. Also news, not officially announced by the Edmonton Oilers yet, but Kevin Weeks and Bob Stauffer of Oilers Now have both said that the Edmonton Oilers are on the verge of getting a 3-year deal done with head coach Jay Woodcroft. He will be no longer the interim head coach for the Edmonton Oilers, but the official one. We assume an associate coach deal for Dave Manson will follow, and the announcement will probably come here in the next few hours or a couple of days. But this was an obvious one the Oilers needed to get done. They do have a lot more work to do, though, and there's lots to talk about Evander Kane and what's happening with his situation. So Bill Daly, Deputy Commissioner of the NHL, has said that the Oilers can sign Evander Kane, or any team can sign Evander Kane once free agency hits here on July 13th. But looming in the background here is his grievance case with the San Jose Sharks, which requires an arbitrator to sit down with both sides and figure out what's going to happen here with his terminated contract from last year. The problem is the arbitrator is not available until July. So this is going to run past free agency, which kind of affects Kane, affects the Sharks and what they can spend, affects a team like the Edmonton Oilers and what they're willing to do. And if they sign Kane and then the arbitrator rules on behalf of Evander and says San Jose is on the hook for this whole thing, San Jose can take Kane back and then make the contract that he signs with the Oilers or another team void. So it's going to be a very, very interesting situation to see what happens with Evander Kane here. And what do the Oilers do? There is interest that they have already reached out in speculation. They've already reached out to Kane's agent and said they'd like to sign an extension with the player and that Kane is interested. Now, he might want to test free agency, but what does that all that mean? So lots going on here. Very fluid situation. We'll keep our eyes on this one for the Edmonton Oilers. Speaking of possible moves, Alex DeBrincat is a name that we're hearing out of Chicago. Chicago is apparently ready to take offers on anybody except for Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, and Seth Jones. Elliot Friedman has reported that much like the Brandon Hagel trade that sent him to Tampa Bay at the end of this season, if someone comes to Chicago and offers something that they can't refuse, DeBrincat, Kirby Dach, other names in Chicago are possibly on the move here. DeBrincat's got a $9 million qualifying offer due to him at the end of next season, which is something the Chicago Blackhawks are a little concerned about because the timing of his ceiling and their rebuild is not exactly lining up. So he could be on the move here, and DeBrincat going somewhere would be very interesting. It's going to take a lot for a team to kind of pony up what's going to be required to land him, but they are looking for futures prospects, draft picks, things like that for Chicago, so that they can be helped in the long term, not necessarily next season where they don't figure they're going to be all that competitive. And finally, David Perron. We assume this is going to get done in St. Louis, that this extension will finally get done, but there's a lot of problems here because David Perron on the open market is apparently worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $7 to $8 million. He's coming off a deal that was paying him $4 million per season. Apparently, St. Louis has lowballed them on an extension. They'd like to keep him. He'd like to stay, but he's not very happy with the first offer, and there hasn't been much in the way of talks since then. So will David Perron hit the free agency market? It's not clear. There's going to be a lot of people very interested in a 30-goal guy who consistently puts up 20-plus goals on a regular basis. They think this is going to get done in St. Louis, but these two are going to have to come together somewhere in the middle to make it work. So we'll keep our eyes on this situation as well. That's going to do it for us. Don't forget, check out thehockeyraters.com. We'll have more news and rumors updates every day on the website, and you can go to the podcast, listen to a bunch of great content, check it out on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere else. Have a fantastic weekend. Again, happy Father's Day, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys next time.